I'm Jocelyn, and this is my uncle, Daniel, and he's a police officer. What do you do as a police officer?
My current assignment, I work on a special detail called Homeless Outreach and Proactive Engagement, in which we work with homeless individuals trying to help get them into services.
Okay, just to start off, how do you feel about this pandemic right now?
It's obviously affected our daily routines. It's affected a lot of the way that I do my job. Currently, we are working with other organizations to try to help the people who are living on the streets who can't quarantine at home.
Okay, so the next one is, how are people treating you outside while you're working during this pandemic?
A lot of people have been very appreciative, coming up to us and thanking us for being out there and working, and still trying to do the best we can with the situation at hand. We are still encountering a lot of people that are still committing crime or doing other types of things they're not supposed to be doing, in which they treat the police about how they always treat the police.
How do you find out that someone has COVID while you're working?
We have been taught and trained to look for the symptoms, similar to a lot of other people, looking for people who are, have a high fever, have had body aches or flu-like symptoms, and if they're exhibiting those symptoms, we'll call for the fire department to come and treat them and test them, and if they obviously come back positive, then they are able to get treatment either at the hospital, depending on how bad they are, or possibly quarantine at one of the sites that have been set up by the county and the city to house them.
What do you do if someone with COVID-19 and with others, like if someone else has COVID, but you're right next to other people who don't have it?
So right now, we are trying to identify those individuals and working with the other county agencies. And if someone is testing positive for COVID-19 and they're in a large group, they will be asked to quarantine themselves either in place, and we'll give them, if they don't have suitable shelter, we'll give them a new tent to be able to quarantine in place and advise them to try and limit exposure. But most people who we've had so far that have tested positive have gone to some type of quarantine shelter. The county and the city have purchased trailers for people who have tested positive to go to quarantine in, and also hotels have been purchased with different money that's coming from the federal government. So people have had a chance to be able to limit the amount of exposure they've had to people who have been positive, and then those who are positive to also be able to quarantine themselves.
Question is, when do you think this pandemic will end based on what you have seen?
Honestly, I can't tell you. We've seen, I guess, so far from all the information that we've been given is that it is slowing down as far as the amount of people who are needing serious treatment, but at the same time they're finding more and more people who have tested positive for it that maybe aren't even showing symptoms. So it's kind of complicated because someone might test positive but have no symptoms. Somebody may be testing positive but have had it in the past and don't currently have it. So it's difficult to determine when the end of the pandemic will be, but we're continuing to work on trying to help people to be able to develop better lifestyle habits to prevent the spread of any type of disease. So I guess the answer to that question is, I have no idea.
Well, thank you, Uncle Daniel.